earth, the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit together fashioned Zion, which is the kingdom of heaven. And they said, let us make man in our likeness. The Son said, I will you wear the body of Adam. And the Holy Spirit said, I will dwell in the heart of the righteous. And the Father said, I will become man, and I will abide in everything I create. I will tell flesh as well as seed and plant, and I will tell air as well as water, and I will dwell in earth. Now, in the days thereafter, through the pleasure of the Father, there came the second Zion, whose name was Jesus Christ. But let us speak of how it was in the beginning. Adam was king of all that the Father created, but he was driven out of the garden because of the sin of the serpent, which was the plan of Satan. Now when Cain was born, Adam saw that he was salt-faced and bad-tempered, and he was sad at the sight of this. And then Abel was born, and Adam saw that he was good-tempered, and that his face was also good. So Adam spoke out and said, This is my son, the heir of my kingdom. Now Satan was envious of Abel, and he cast this envy into the heart of Cain, where he grew, remembered the words of his father, saying that Abel will be the heir of his throne. And he thought of the sister who had been born with Cain, and who had a beautiful face, and this sister was given by Adam to Abel. And he thought of the sister who had been born with Abel, and whose face was unlovely, and this sister was given by Adam to Cain. And these things grew like a seed of envy in the heart of Cain. But there was yet another thing that caused him to be angry with his brother, for the offerings that were made by each of the brothers were not accepted equally. Like Adam accepted Abel's sacrifice and rejected Cain's. So envy rose up in the heart of Cain, and because of this he struck his brother and ended him. Afterwards, however, he understood what he had done and trembled over it, and he wasn't driven away by Adam and the Father. Now, when Seth was born, Adam looked up at him and knew that the Father had shown compassion. He hath given to me the light of my face, and the birth of Seth destroyed the name of the one who slayed his heir. From Adam until Noah, there passed 10 generations. All during this time, the generations of Cain also propagated and made of themselves a lawless breed that cared nothing for the grace of godliness, the love of the Father. They lived for themselves, and they paid no homage to the Father. And at length they put the seed of the ass into the mirror, bringing the mule into being, which the Father had not commanded in any way. Noah, however, was a righteous man, and he was the 10th generation from Adam. He told his children not to meet with the children of Cain, for these children were filled with exultant pride, boastful speech, and false oaths. And man wrought sexual wickedness with man, and woman wrought sexual wickedness with dust. The Father let loose the waters of the flood, and the children of Cain reaped the fruit of their corruption. With them went all the beasts and creeping things. They had been created for Adam to provide food and pleasure, but they were now for his sake destroyed. Every male were 8 souls, and 7 of every kind of clean beast and creeping thing, and to every kind of unclean beast and creeping thing. Now before Noah died, he called forth his 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. To Shem he said, Be God to thy brother. To Ham, be servant to thy brother. And to Japheth, be servant to Shem, my heir. Noah's order was obeyed, but this did not stop the devil's hostility against the children of Noah. After the flood, the devil stirred up Canaan, the son of Ham. Canaan took the kingdom from the children of Shem, and again brother rose up against brother. While Noah lived, he saw that kingdom from the vine, and he prayed to the Father, If you destroy the earth with the second blood, blot me out without those who perish. Blot me out with those who perish. But the Father said, I will make a covenant with you. Tell your children not to eat the beast that has died of itself, nor one that has been torn apart by wild beasts. Tell them not to cultivate harlotry, and I on my part will not has taken time with the flood, but will give you your children seed time, harvest time, and the 4 seasons that bring this into being. And the father said, Father, to know my covenant will be with your children forever, because I have sworn by myself and by the tabernacle of my covenant, which I have made for the salvation of all men. And when they see a cloud up on the sky, they will not fear it, nor think it danger unto them, as in the coming of another flood. For they will see the bow of my covenant, which will henceforth be known as a rainbow, the crown of my law. And this crown will remind the children that even though their sins may multiply, their trust in me will be ever in vain, because I shall not be angry with them, but will put away my acts and my compassion. So even if heaven and earth pass away, my word shall not pass away. There lived 8 generations after Shem, and the son whose name was Abram. And on the boy's 12th birthday, his father sent him out to sell idols. Abram told him, These cannot make deliverance. He took them as he was told, but made no effort to sell them. To those who would buy them, he asked, Do you wish to buy artificial idols made of wood, stone, and brass? And the people, hearing the words of the boy, passed to buy the idols. With his day returning home, Abram placed the idols on the roadside, and he spoke to them, saying, Can you deliver me bread to eat or water to drink? And none of the idols answered him, and they remained silent. So Abram defiled them with his feet, kicking the face of one and smashing the body of another until all lay in pieces by the road. And he said to them, If you cannot defend yourselves from harm, can you defend me? Then Abram turned his face towards heaven and cried, O Maker of the universe, creator of the sun, moon, sea, and earth, maker of what which is seen and that which is not seen, from this day forth I will place myself in your care. After saying this, Abram saw a chariot of fire come to view, and he was afraid, and he fell to the ground and shielded his eyes. Then he heard a voice which spoke to him and said, Give up your prayer and stand upright. So the father removed the fear from him, and the father placed his blessing upon Abram, and said, There was now a covenant between them. I will bring down the tabernacle of my covenant 7 generations after you, and your seed shall be the salvation of the race. Then the father spoke against the kinsmen of Abram, saying that they were worshippers of idols. And he told Abram to leave the land of his fathers and go to a new land, which would show to him. So Abram went to the home of his father, and he took his wife Sarah, and they were war, and did not return to his father, mother, or the land of his kinsmen, but he went to the city of Salem, and there reigned in righteousness. And the father blessed him greatly, and he died an honorable man, with a large kingdom of his own. Now it came to pass that Moses, who was of the seed of Abram, was told by the father to make a likeness of his law, as it was brought down to earth. The father said, Make an ark of wood that cannot be eaten by worms, and overlay with pure gold. And upon this place the word of the law, which is the covenant written by my own hand. And the tabernacle is a spiritual thing, full of compassion. It's a heavenly thing, full of freedom and a habitation of the Father. And the work thereof is marvelous, and it resembles jasper, topaz, hyacinth, stone, and the crystal and the light catch the eye by force. And it astonishes the mind of God. Within it are the manna from heaven that came down to earth, and the rod of Aaron that sprouted after it withered. Through no one watered it with water. Moses covered the ark with pure gold, and made boats to carry it, and rings to hold it, priest and the people redeemed themselves from sin by placing offerings. Moses and his brother Aaron were instructed to make the holy vessels for the tabernacle, and these things were called pitchers, embroidered clothes, candlesticks and bowls, crowns and carpets, hanging of silk, and the red eyes of rams, hyacinths and purple hangings, sardius stones, sapphires and emeralds, and all of these things offers of gold and silver and sequin to be placed in the tabernacle, and all of these things of gold and silver and silk were to be placed in the tabernacle of the law, an ark of wooden uneaten and uneatable by worms, and these were to reside, along with the two tablets written by the fingers of the Father, which were to have been preserved in an enamel gold, so that the law might be protected and carried. All of this was Moses commanded on Mount Sinai. The pattern of the tent what would cover all, and how it was to be cut, and the work thereof. And Zion was repaired, and the Father came down on the mountains with his two sons, and he opened the door of salvation to them, and he delivered them from their enemies. And the Father spoke from the pillar of cloud and commanded the people to keep his law and walk with him the way he had set forth. The old men walking along the sinking Jamaican roads, wearing tall black rubber boots, coming home in the evening, fierce-faced and fiery-eyed, remind Ernie that it's better to be on the move than to be still somewhere. For after all, he comments, as he rounded the turn toward Dora Cabeza, where he grew up. A man is like water. If he slows down or stops, he becomes stagnant. He says this in Patois. Walk venutin better than sit talking venutin. We have a large love over this perfect expression of truth, how it betters the English version by far. We drive into the little seaport town where the banana was once king. We drive into the little seaport town where the banana was once king. The men of Ora Cabeza sung original choruses of the banana boat song, while bearing green branches on their backs, banana barriers, dozen huge bunches from man to man, from their shore to chip. The best of these banana carriers were Ernie's father. Ernie stops the car and points out the cliff edge, over which we can see the old harbor where the men had once toiled, glistening with sweat. Look now, there's the Jacob's ladder, Ernie says, chuckling. Here on the reef rock hill, a bush with giant fig tree has been stand, sending cable roots to the beach bottom far below. The best of these banana carriers was Ernie's father. Ernie stops the car and points out the cliff edge over which we can see the old harbor where the men had once toiled, glistening with sweat. Now there is the Jacob's ladder, Ernie says, chuckling. Here on the reef rock hill, a brave and giant fig tree has made its stand, sending cable roots to the beach bottom far below. Many times, Ernie says, I stood at the top of the Jacob's ladder, waiting for my father. You see the steps carved in the hill. The men used the vines as ropes, and they used the earth steps to steady their feet as they hung in the air and drew themselves up. That's why they called it the Jacob's ladder. We stared down the hill into the triple emerald shade, and I remember the story in Genesis where Jacob dreamed of a ladder extended to heaven with angels ascending and descending. Ernie continues ruefully. My father was an Englishman. He spent his money on gambling, playing poker, and bow ties on the dock. When he got off work, my sister Marilyn waited all day down there hoping for a sixpence or twopence from our father, who everybody knew as Brother John. Laughing at the memory, Ernie goes on, but he was a trickster. Brother John he'd sneak through the lines of men with his money in his pocket. Then he'd come up with Jacob's ladder before Merlin could see him, had to sneak away. And for what? To spend the rest of the day gambling, drinking rum and gambling. I saw him, yes, I saw him down there, even though Merlin did. Ernie's father tale is not unusual of an island where poverty destroys more families than the words in the heart. Jamaica, hope springs eternal but John's review. Ernie bears no malice, however, towards the father who didn't raise him, but brother John, who abandoned him along with his two sisters and three brothers. It happened in a day, he explained. In one day, we lost it all. Ernie dropped backs into Patois as he recalls those long days when he was a child. He get mixed up with a big woman. She kicked him on a butcher, Albert oil, what they call coffee stay. That lady lived next door to we. So one day, brother John gave him coffee at her house to live. Just backed up him thick and comfy good. Yes, the devil took brother John. He laughs and adds, it's really true because he was a drunken man. Brother John played the part of the devil. I, the little boy, was the devil's treasure. The drunken noise a Wall Street dance put on at or just before Christmas in Jamaica. It included 6 main characters. There was the bassoon, a big short man, honking and oinking and making people laugh. The king and the queen, superiors royalty, the horse wearing a holy shirt, Andrew's costume rocking up a storm, the Indian solemn and the policeman foolish helpless, always asserting his authority. All these people gesturing and dancing. The big star of Jungano was the devil, played by my father, brother John. Ernie says that brother John took this devil's work seriously, more seriously than he took his life. He played the role so well, in fact, that as time went on, he forgot it was a role at all. My father, Ernie remarks, was really the devil. Yes, he became the devil incarnate, and he didn't need his costume anymore. One afternoon, when brother John got home from the dock, the Opea, or Buddha woman, invited him to her kitchen for some kalalo soup, and in that hot peppery soup, she poured the libation of oil. After that, he was hers. She knew it, and so did Ernie's family. So he was up to his mother, who had no job, to try and figure out what to do. The road to Tanglin, where brother John left his family more than 30 years ago, is a short bus trip, a steep trip up from the harbor road of La Cabeza. Earth is red there, rich and red like blood. The black green trees that sprout from it are paradisical. Guinea, breadfruit, grapefruit, jumbo, camellia, croton, pimento. The air is sweet with those wood-smelling trees and cardamom-scented moist earth. And the bitter-sweet smells no more of burning leaf trash. The yards are small and clean. The dirt swept to an immaculate boutique. The house neat and trim come from the Victorian era. Many of them have roosted 6 roofs, and the yards where roosters call about morning hens. They bring trucks, hang, bursting fruit, and the Jamaican cherries sparkle. Banana fonts lazy and liquid in their turning roadside society with the day and idle gust. A falsity that everything is easy. Brother John left us to this, Ernie says, switching back into English. Somewhere between the devil and the devil's sea. We laugh at this, but Ernie laughter so fades. You don't see drunk canoe dancers like those in my mother's time. That is all gone, along with the banana men, the banana songs, and the shilling and pence of bathing. The 18th century, the drunk canoe dancers commemorated Noah's flood by transporting a representation of the ark upon their heads. The ark itself was a symbol of the world's destruction and resurrection, a huge and towering commemoration of the ancient meaning from the Bible and the Kebra Nagast. Today, the old ark can still be seen at the Junk Canoe in Ocho Rios, Jamaica.